All right. Well, I'm here with Benny. So we're recording out of the blue a episode three, actually, of Shoot for Succession podcast. And Benny, I've known for a bunch of years. Apparently, I did not know everything about him because my
Yeah.
mind is blown away. This is the first time I'm over at his studio. We're on holiday break. As you know, I'm an educator. Benny's an educator, and he's constantly, he sees me at games and stuff or different events, that I, bring my camera to and things like that. And he always knows exactly what I'm shooting with. And he asks me if, about the new technology
Yeah.
that he's able to get
Yeah,
very
I nerd
quickly.
out. I'm a big nerd. I like nerding out on tech.
Yeah, what I didn't know was how big of a nerd you are.
Yeah.
I'm looking back, you can see in the background of the studio here,
Yeah.
video game guy, man.
All these are video games back here. It's
Like,
pretty great.
I feel like I'm at GameStop.
Yeah,
This
pretty
is
much.
amazing. I mean, number one, like super impressive area here. He's got different stations set up. The equipment is just out of this world. I thought I had an issue. I thought I had a problem with buying equipment and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm okay.
Yeah,
This guy has a bit of a
A
problem.
little bit. A little bit.
But we actually started talking, and I stopped him, and I'm like, dude, we got to record this. This is like right up my alley, right up what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so we going back, and I actually, let me step back a little bit. Started this Facebook group, ended up doing it wrong, accidentally invited like 3 or 4 thousand friends that I have on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was a Facebook group for Media Day photographers. And every day I go into it and I have like 30 or 40 more people like signed in. And I thought that I was supposed to be able to approve everybody, but they're just like coming in. And I'm like, all right, what's going on? And I'm looking and they're not. Like, it's just random friends, right? Random Facebook friends that have, no, connection to photography. And I'm like, all right, I did something wrong here. I create a new group on a different page. I send Benny the link. I'm like, hey, can you try this out for me? He answered some questions that I had on there, and then I see like his business name, and I thought he was just messing with me. What's the name of the business?
The Curious Consumer.
The Curious Consumer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And so, of course, I'm curious about this, and I get here and I see like some of his like branding stuff. I'm like, dude, wait, you have a business? You have a side
Yeah.
business?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, it's a YouTube business, and he's showing me all around his studio what he does, and he fixes controllers and
Yeah. Anything to do with video games. I'm a nerd.
and you take stuff apart
Yeah.
and you show how to put it back together. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love taking things apart. I'm just not good at putting them back
Yeah,
together.
that's the thing. Well, we all have those stories where you take something apart and then you put it back together and you've like 5 extra parts.
Yeah.
That literally
Yeah.
just happened to me the other day with my snowblower.
Hollywood. Remember Doc Hollywood?
Yes.
Where they put the cars back, they always have a couple pieces
always
left
extra
over.
parts. A mechanic told me once when he was doing my brakes, I said, how do I know that the brakes are good? And he said, well, if the brakes don't stop you, something will. It's like, all right.
That's all right. That's a reality show.
Yeah,
right
it
there.
is
Yes, yes,
literally
indeed.
a reality show.
So, Benny, tell me about your business, your YouTube channel. When did it start? How the heck do you make money doing that?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. It started 2016. I was teaching marketing. Well, I was 2016. The spring of 2016. I was teaching marketing at my school. And I had a student. His name was Lewis. And Lewis, great kid. He was trying to get a job and he was applying everywhere. Nothing was calling him back. He wasn't getting any bites on his anything. Every place he called, oh, sorry, we're not hiring. I don't know when YouTube started, but I do know that like around that time was very early in its inception. And I said to him, Lewis, every time, because we ran a school store in our marketing department, every time you're stocking shelves and putting things out or ordering or doing anything at work, you're beatboxing. Why don't you start teaching people how to beatbox on YouTube? Think about the problem you could solve. I mean, not that beatboxing is necessarily a problem, but like people make noises with their mouths all the time if they can find out ways to be better at it. And there are killer beatboxers out there. And I was like, yeah, teach the basics, boots and cats, And he was like, yeah, right, okay. So I was like, do it with your cell phone. You don't need anything more than that because your cell phone really nowadays is a business. You don't even need to have all this fancy equipment like I have. It's literally a cell phone and you can start anything. And that's how I started my channel. So I told Lewis, get on and start making content. So he went home, he made like 2 or 3 videos of him doing boots and cats, and then he did the pen thing with the table. I can't do that because I'm not that coordinated. But
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so then he was like, well, my content is drying up. What else should I do? And so I told him, I said, think about this. You're learning about personal finance. You're learning about how to make money, how to invest. And you're a kid. Like, people typically learn best through their peers, not necessarily through teachers who are talking to them, right? So if a peer is telling you, hey, save your money so when you get a little older, you can, have something. Like, there's this really cool thing I learned a long time ago about, and I don't even know how accurate it is. I just know I tell kids this and they're like, oh, it opens up their eyes. But like, let's say you're 18 years old and you need to make money. You have a job and you don't want to go to college and get a career. You just want to work right out of high school. And so if they were to ask me advice on how to make money, I would tell them, here's the plan. You're going to go to a bank or to an investing firm, and you're going to invest $2,000 a year into a mutual fund. And you're going to keep it going for 10 years. And after that 10 years, you're going to stop investing. And you're just going to let it ride. Let it ride until you're 65. Don't touch the money, just let it ride. And if another student came to me who was going to go to college and they came to me when they graduated, they'd be 24 or 22, 4 years, right? 22. So 4 years. So 22, they come to me.
4 years.
Yeah, hopefully 4 years. Whatever, things happen sometimes. In 4 years, they come to me and ask me the same question. I'm going to give them the same advice. Take $2,000 a year, put it into, you're making $60,000 probably out of college, whatever. Take that money, put it into a mutual fund and do that for 10 years. Turn this to silent. And let it go after 10 years, just let it ride till you're 65. When that person that went to college goes and to the bank and says, all right, I'm ready to retire, I'm going to take my money out. If they yield a 10% yield on that $20,000 initial investment, which is 10 years, $2,000 a year, they probably leave the bank with like $600,000. If it yields 10%,
sure.
Like, let's say positive yield. That other person who left school, went right into the industry and worked and did it when they were 18. They go to the bank and they're, tired. They worked hard. They probably didn't have all the easy jobs that were out there. It's usually hard labor jobs, right? So he did the same thing. But when he goes to retire, he leaves the bank, if it yields 10%, with $1.3 million. And I'm like, 4 years difference. That's all it is. It's time. So I asked the students, like, it's time, so put in the work, learn it. So I told Lewis this. I went on a tangent there. I'd like to talk a lot. So Lewis was like, all right, cool. I'll keep doing that. So we started doing like how to start a business in your house. Like, he would go to Walmart and he would buy juices for like super cheap. It was like $1 for 6 Gatorades. And then he would sell each Gatorade for $1. So he'd make $6, $5 profit. He started doing that and making videos about that. And then we broke for the summer break. And when we came back in the fall, I said, Lewis, how's the business? He goes, it's not going. And I kid you not, my favorite thing when I said, well, what happened? He goes, I forgot the password. So I go, Lewis, dude, you can just hit forgot password and get it back. And he goes,
if you want to.
Yeah. And he goes, I you know what? I just didn't see the validity in it. I didn't see any income. I didn't hit the ground running. I just didn't get anything out of it. And I said, well, dude, you got to give it time. Why don't you do it? And he said, well, why should I do it if you're not doing it? And so I looked at him and I was like, you know what? He's absolutely right now. And I can't say no. And I said, you know what, Lewis, you're absolutely right. I like to tinker with things. I like to take things apart and put them back together. I mean, like right here is like one of those things. Like I had this Xbox controller that was broken that I bought on eBay for like $20. These things used to sell for like $150 or something. And so I got it off of eBay for like $20 and I fixed it. Right. So I was like, at that time, it's like, I do this anyway. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it. So we sat down at my computer instantly and I bought a tripod and a lavalier mic. Lav mics, if you don't know, are just microphones that plug into the cameras and they just kind of hook onto your shirt. I wanted to get good audio because I figured most people, they could stay for terrible video. Audio, they need to hear.
Absolutely.
And I wanted my videos to be different. Like if I said I was going to take this controller apart, I didn't want it to be like, all right, well, we got to take off these side panels and then don't show how to take it off. Right. They just took them off. So I didn't do any editing. So I just took my iPhone 4S, put on a tripod, and I'm in my dining room upstairs, and my wife hears me whispering. This was the best part. I'm like, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, doing that. And my wife peeks around the corner and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm making a video. And so I right from the phone, I took it off the phone. I uploaded it instantly to YouTube, and I put it on, and I put in a couple of search words. Now search words I'm not very good at, but like I kind of cheat a little bit. I put in names of famous people that people would typically watch at that time. So like at the time, Casey Neistat was a big influencer on YouTube. So I put his name in there. So when people type in Casey Neistat, maybe my video pops on. So that's what that's how I kind of started. And then that video, it did okay. You know, first week I had like 72 views and 17 subscribers, and those 17 subscribers were my friends, and probably half of those views were me.
Did I just get a new view for myself?
Yep. And then you look at it, it's like, nah. I didn't understand the metrics. I didn't understand anything of it, but I went back to school and I showed Lewis. I said, Lewis, look, I made the video. And he's like, great, mister. And I'm like, so are you going to make yours? He's like, nah, great. But I had fun making it. So I was like, you know, it really wasn't that hard. It was just putting a camera up and then just pressing record and doing what I was going to do anyway. The hardest part becomes later on when you have to like edit it together and get out all the ums and the uhs and all that, which, you know, I'm sure we'll get into that later on with AI, and you can do that now and press it in a system and it does it for you. But I will say there was something organic to what I was doing and people saw it. And so I made 5 videos before Thanksgiving that year, and this was 2016 in the fall. And my last video I made, I told my wife, I remember to never forget it. She was in the shower and I go in the bathroom and go, babe, I just made this video. It's going to be the one. It's going to be the one. And she's like, yeah, babe. Right.
Okay, honey, get out.
Yeah. And like I told you earlier, my friends were like, what are you going to do? Make 17 cents? Because YouTube doesn't really pay all that well, until I realized later on what the pay is. And they were right. You know, they were like 17 cents. I was like, no, I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it for the passion. Like literally, like it's kind of like, I think the biggest misconception about businesses, you know, yes, we would love the money. That's the bonus part, but you got to be passionate about what you're doing. And if you're not,
absolutely. And the passion's what was certain. You didn't start a YouTube business and then come up with an idea of what to do. Like It was, you took something and you had a purpose for it, right? You were trying to, you know, mentor the student.
Yeah, that was one thing.
You know, that's, you know, something you're super passionate about. We talk about your teaching all the time, and you know, that's the passion is what gets us started, right? The passion gets us going. And I talked about this, you know, in previous episodes, where it's the passion only takes you so far, though.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like,
yeah,
because it's like going to the gym. Right, New Year's is coming up, right? What are we going to see? We're going to see all these gym memberships. We're going to see all the people complaining, you know, that are, you know, normal, you know, gym goers that are complaining that, you know, January is the worst month to go because it's full and this and that, and then give it 3 weeks and you're back to normal.
Yeah. So I remember sitting down shopping. I was, you know, because nowadays, you know, at that time, 2016, I was like, you know what, I'm done going to the stores on Black Friday. Smart. So I sat on the couch and I'm like scrolling through my Amazon. I'm doing whatever. And I fell asleep on the couch. And I woke up in the morning and my phone was just bombarded with messages. And I just kept scrolling through messages and it just kept saying YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. And when I looked on my YouTube, it said like I had just gotten like 1,000 to 200,000 views and 2,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh my God.
I was right.
Wait, what? What just happened? I struck lightning. Now, I will say it doesn't happen like that for everybody.
Sure.
Like, right. So I was lucky. I hit lightning. There was something that I did on there that people just loved. And they didn't love actually, because my comments were really, really negative for the most part. But I, you know, like it was funny because like I said, I didn't edit. So all the ums and ahs, people were counting and like, how many ums and ahs is he going to say? Like, I mean, and I had threats on there too, like you should kill yourself, things like that. So I just write back, thanks for watching.
Right.
You know, you copy paste.
Yeah,
you watched my video, you got me paid. So
yeah,
that went on for the entire weekend, and I got 7,000 subscribers in a weekend. And it was probably about, I'd probably say about 700, 800,000 views in that weekend. And then I didn't realize how it worked. Back then, they didn't have a threshold on the, like now I think it's 4,000 hours watched and 1,000 subscribers in order for you to get paid.
Gotcha.
Back then, they didn't have that. So in that first week, that first video I put up, I forgot to tell you this part of the story. They said, hey, your video is doing well, which it really wasn't. 72 views wasn't great. And they were like, you can be monetized. So I signed up for the monetization. And it was great. I was like, I have to do that, whatever. And that's when my friends started making fun of me. But my first check came in January, and it was for $1,300. Like $1,300 for doing 5 videos, which I were going to do anyway because I was going to be doing these things. And like it was, I think it was a one Xbox controller video, putting a hard drive into an Xbox One. I think there was a Wii U controller. I did a modified that, put in the magnetic thumbsticks. I did a video on a laser tag set that I bought for my son. And then the last one was a PlayStation 4 controller modification video. And right now that video sits at like 3.7 million views.
Holy crap.
And that was like 9 years ago. But that is still probably one of the most popular videos people watch.
And at what point did you create your business? Like you came up with the business name and really like thought about, you know what, this can be something that I can continue to do. Because how many videos do you have up now?
You know, I don't know. I probably have like maybe 100 to 200 videos. And it's funny because the business still kind of rides itself. Like I still get the views. And there's a couple of things that you can do to make extra money, which I'll get into in a second. But when I started, I wanted all I thought about, it was actually funny because I woke up one morning, I was like, that's the name. Because I wanted to name the channel something cool. I didn't want it to be my name. So I named it The Curious Consumer because I'm always curious and I'm always buying things. And I usually buy things broken. Because as you can clearly see behind me, I have an addiction to video games. So I used to buy all the old video game systems that I could never afford when I was a kid. So like the Sega CD and the TurboGrafx Express Portable. I bought that broken, and I
enough memories, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so I had this whole soldering station and stuff. So I used the money from the business to actually buy all the other equipment I needed.
Investing.
Yeah, that's it. And the thing was, I didn't film it with an expensive camera.
Yeah,
I filmed it with an iPhone. And then I went from the iPhone 4 to my iPhone 5 because my iPhone 4 was my spare iPhone. That was the extra one I had lying around because I never traded those in either.
Sure.
So I had my iPhone 5 and that was my remaining thing. And I had a little table I bought from Target. It was probably like a 20-inch table and that's what I would record on. And I probably did about I can't remember. It's probably like 20 videos on that table before I started going. I bought a workbench. And you know what the funny thing was? I didn't show my face on any of my videos until my 20,000th subscriber.
And how'd that go?
They said I was ugly. No, I'm just kidding. They said, I wish I stopped watching at 19,000.
I stopped making money.
Yeah, money went down. No, it went well. And that was funny because at that point in time, I think I was kind of in that transition of the apex where it was like, hey, people are actually watching. I'm getting to 20,000 subscribers, and I don't forget ever like the other YouTubers I was seeing at the time that were like making something of themselves at the same time. So like there was a YouTuber I used to watch, Nigel Bajos, and he does camera content. Peter McKinnon, he does camera content. Adi Hapoya, like all those guys, Peter Lindgren, like those are big motivators for me. Those guys inspired me quite a bit through my time. And then I remember watching and I was like, me and Nigel are right there head and head. I have more subscribers than him. And I'm like, and that was like my motivation. I wanted to keep my subscribers. I don't know the guy, but I wanted to keep my subscribers up. And then all of a sudden he's far surpassed me. He's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers now. I kind of, I started having kids, babies, and they took up a lot more of my time. So the business kind of took a back seat. But I think, for me at that time in the beginning, I was like, I'm going to start this. I want to do it right. So that's why I focused so much on the name. And when I woke up from my sleep that day, and I was like, The Curious Consumer, because I buy all this stuff so other people don't have to. And then I was like watching other people on YouTube. His name is out of my head right now. I can't think of it, but I'll think of it in a minute. Austin Evans. He's a tech YouTuber. He starts every video with, hey guys, this is Austin. And so I was like, all right. So I wanted my catchphrase to be, hey tubers, it's been The Curious Consumer. And so that every single one. And then I was like, I need a catchphrase for the end. So my catchphrase was stay curious and I'll catch you in the next video.
I love it.
And I always made sure I wore my rings every time because it was signifying my relationship with my wife and my kids. So that was big for me. And so my logo has that same kind of thing on it.
Very
too.
cool.
But yeah, once it started like picking up, I started wanted to hit it heavy, but I couldn't do it. I mean, what's the one thing, like you said, people go to the gym every year, right? They start their thing. And there's always that excuse that holds them back. You make excuses as a business owner. You think of the easy ways out.
There's plenty of them, right?
Like I didn't get enough sleep.
Absolutely.
I'm sore. I don't want to go to the gym because my arm hurts. But as you work through those growing pains as a business owner, you start to really reap the benefits from that.
Yes,
people
100%. And one of the things I want to kind of take this into is looking back, right? And hindsight's always 2020. And I always say that the right time to make your change, the right time to do anything is now.
Yeah.
Right? We've talked about it for years, and we've even talked about like doing this.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
At least 2 years. And it's not like we even planned to come in and do this. Like this was literally,
It had to happen. It's just one of those things on a whim.
we've got some things in the works, and I was coming over to meet with Benny, and I'm like, oh yeah, show me your studio. He goes, oh yeah, yeah. And then we start talking. I'm like, dude, we got to record this. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Now is the right time to do it.
Ex-
But the big thing is, if you were to stop today, is there value? Is this something that you can pass on to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, where like for me, my daughter is a photographer. She's in college right now. She's down to University of Tennessee. Loves the sports photography. Loves
Fantastic.
the action stuff, which is where I really started myself, because when I first picked up the camera, it was catching my kids in motion, right?
Yeah.
Before they even started sports, it was just them crawling and running and walking and stuff like that. And I was never happy with like the point and clicks. Like I was never like, I knew the value of, the picture I wanted, and I just didn't know how to get it.
Yeah.
Right? So I started understanding more of like the exposure triangle and things like that. And I realized like there was just limitations, right?
Yeah.
It's not that the camera, all the arguments of the camera doesn't make the photographer. No, but it makes the job easier.
It does make the job easier, definitely. Nowadays, absolutely.
Yeah. If you know what you're doing, the equipment matters, right?
Yeah.
Not that you can't do it with other equipment. It's just, well, do you want to work harder, or do you want to work a little bit smarter?
Right.
Spend the money now, or spend that money and time that you're taking.
I kind of took the wrong approach when I was doing my videos. I mean, I still kind of do them every now and then, but like, I didn't take that approach. I took the approach of, all right, I need to get the next best thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, I was like, oh, there's this really cool camera. It's the Canon EOS, and I was like, that camera, it's only $150 right now. So I went online and bought it used, $150, and I think the first one I got had sand in it. So I had to clean out the sensor. The guy who had it was selling it for $150. It should have been $250. I bought it used, and kind of changed the quality of my video. I didn't understand exposure triangle, nothing like that. But I just knew that the autofocus was clean and it looked really good on my hands when I was doing it, because I still didn't show my face then. And then I got addicted to buying used cameras that were broken.
That's awesome. You and I are very different. I like the new stuff. I like the stuff that hasn't been touched, that I know if there's something wrong with it, it's something I did.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I've learned that the hard way. I've got 3 Canon EOS M's. I got the Canon EOS M50 M10, and like a bunch of that stuff I bought was broken, and I fixed it, and they worked great. But then I'm like, well, it didn't have this feature. Like I can't record, like the camera I'm recording on right now has clean HDMI out, but these other cameras don't. And I'm like, man, that sucks. So then I realized I got to buy expensive cameras, which then by then I learned the exposure triangle, learned how to get a good picture quality. But at the same time, I realized that the skills that you learn using something that isn't as great is way more important than using something
more important.
Like I have a camera behind us I was going to shoot with a minute ago. It was the Sony ZV-E1, which is basically an A7S III and a smaller body. That camera's fantastic, but it does all the thinking for you. And like you could mess up everything, shutter speed, whatever, and that camera still
it'll compensate for you.
Yeah. But I think that takes out some of the fun.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And it's honest to relate that. It's like our kids with Google and AI, ChatGPT and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
They don't, excuse me. Let's go back to Google. Excuse me. Jeez. These kids have no concept of having to do a report on the country of Bolivia and having to look at look up Bolivia in the Encyclopedia Britannica, pick the right book off the shelf and get information that's 50 years old.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like you updated your encyclopedia collection, every year or anything like that.
Right.
And our students just didn't have the appreciation for what Google provided.
Right.
And now ChatGPT and other AI, like they just, I make my kids do so many things manually and with old equipment and old software, just so they can have an appreciation. It's useless if you don't understand where it came from.
And it makes you just that much dumber if you don't know it, right?
100%.
If you can't figure out how to go to a library and learn how to find a book. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, the Dewey Decimal System's a little antiquated, but and I hated that. Go through the files, right? You're going through the files. Yeah, I hated it, but like at the same time, though,
it made sense.
Yeah, if a kid doesn't know how to use a library or doesn't know how to change a tire. Granted, we live in a world now. This is why YouTube's kind of a big deal, right? You can go right to YouTube and watch how to do it. I use it all the time, but I think it's important for the youth, and this is why I think, where you have to have some bit of control of what's happening in your life, and AI can be that thing that kind of takes that control away, which is what I worry the most about. So I make my kids do the same thing. My personal kids, I make them do the same thing. Oh, we got a report to do. Let's figure that out. Like, they could use a calculator. That was the same thing, though. We went through
the calculator.
We went through the same thing with calculators back in the day. Right? Remember that comment your math teacher always used to say?
Yeah, you're never gonna have a calculator all the time.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket. Right. Well, now, sorry to say,
but my argument for the calculators still holds true today, and it's not going to change. And it's actually more connected to AI and Google and stuff. The calculator is only as smart as the numbers that you put into it.
Exactly.
Right? If you don't know, if you hit a wrong digit and you just keep going and you get the answer and you write that answer down without even
like double checking
like your estimate, or the value of estimating, the value of predicting, things like that, where kids, anybody, right? I say kids, but it's
adults,
it's adults
too,
as well. They just trust everything that they see, right? We trust what we see on social media. We trust what we see in the news. We trust what our calculators tell us, or what the AI search tells us. But it doesn't. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Exactly.
Right? The content. Same thing with AI. The better details you can put into something, the better result you're going to get out of it.
You got to know the terminology.
You got to know,
and you're always going to be in that bit of control, right? Yes. So like we went through this. Well, we didn't. We weren't alive then, but in the 50s, right? So in the 50s,
I was not alive.
Yeah, no. People in America in the 50s, they spent a lot of time trying to perfect the living room. Like, that was it. That was the thing. 50s and 60s, perfect the living room, stop doing things outside. Like, yes, bowling alleys existed, and yes, movie theaters existed, but big screen TVs started coming out, and, big radios and all this stuff. Like, board games are part of that. Video games are another part of that. So you didn't have to go to arcades anymore. Like, we spent years trying to perfect that. And really, then it turns into like a nostalgic place when you go to like the boardwalk in New Jersey. You're going to an arcade, and you're like, this is fantastic. But in all actuality, you just run into different problems. Yes. And the AI, I think, is going to be the same thing. You're going to run into those different problems. As a business person, you could use it, but you should use it as a tool. And always double check what you're doing. Because like right now, there's some great tools out there where you can, and this would lead into a little bit about, is this a viable business? Like my business model. I can use AI tools to find out like, trends, or find out, look, AI's not new. We've been using AI since Google, right?
We've been using AI since Microsoft Word put those little red squigglies under words that are spelled wrong.
Yeah,
and kids ignore them, right?
Exactly.
Or anybody ignores them. That's AI.
Absolutely. But if I were to go to AI and say, write me a script for a video, it's going to be so non-human, and
correct.
People see it, and eventually it'll get better. Like everything else, it'll get better. But look, they used AI when they made certain video movies, cartoon movies, and things like that. People still see it as a separate thing.
Yes.
And it should just be that extra tool. So
absolutely, and to that point, AI is, and I love AI. I love AI on social media. I love all these videos and this, like the Sasquatch and the gorilla. Like, it's just, I love the way people are using it.
Yeah.
Obviously, will it be used for bad? Yes, but
absolutely,
I enjoy the lighthearted, like just the hilarious stuff that's out there. Like I just think it's awesome. But what it also is proven in a very short amount of time is how much we still want that human connection.
Yeah.
Right? I could be online and doing all my SEO and doing my blog posts and doing my Instagram and TikToks and stuff like that. But it's still not a substitution for me getting out and shaking hands. And seeing people in public and attending events and being there, right? Like when I have a client, like my goal is always to get them on the phone.
Oh yeah.
On the phone or, on a Zoom. I want to see their faces. I want them to see my face. I want them to see that this is not just a robotic, automated email that they're getting. Yeah, I send those out because it helps them remember something. It helps me remember, stuff that's coming up. It's got its place. It's not a replacement.
Right.
Right. People want to do business with people. Yeah. And so, part of this, the idea of this podcast is, it's kind of my journey of how to take a business, take that passion, and create those systems that can be replicable, right? And somebody can pick it up and do it. And I've always had this thing like, oh, I don't want to put too much out there because I don't want somebody to steal my idea. You know what? My buddy James was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You can put everything out there. Nobody wants to do it. Like nobody, like
It
takes somebody that has the passion and the willingness to pick it up and go with it. And there's just not a lot of people
You're
out
absolutely
there that
right.
do it.
I think with social media, YouTube specifically, and I think YouTube's kind of like, it's starting to become a little slower on YouTube because I think a lot more is going towards that short form content, but YouTube still pays probably a little better because you have that long form ability. But yes, you're absolutely right. I think if I had to give anybody that one tip, it would be consistency and don't worry about what other people are doing. I'm not the first person to take apart a controller, fix it, and put it back on the internet and show people how to do it. I'm just one of many, but if more people see it, if anybody sees it, that's the motivation that you should have. Like, and if you help one person, I mean, you've helped someone.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you've seen those stuff where, I only got 100 views, right?
Yeah.
And then it shows a picture of like an auditorium with 100 people watching, somebody on
It looks
stage.
very different.
Hey, guess what? That's 100 people that you've
absolutely
that have seen your stuff and watched it in its entirety.
Yeah, let's say 10 people out of the 100 subscribe. Now you've got 10% subscriber rate, and out of the 100 that have seen it. So don't be afraid of putting out your content.
Right.
You're like, just like this podcast, don't be afraid of putting the content out there. People have done things like how to start businesses, right? Yeah. And it's great. But the thing is, maybe something that you say is something different than what they said. Or maybe you say it in a different way that motivates somebody differently than the other person.
Or it resonates later. Right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't. Just, you think about it now, and then and I tell my students this all the time. Like, listen, I know what I'm putting out here right now isn't hitting a lot of you, or isn't hitting every single one of you. At some point, it's gonna click, and that might be 10 years from now. You'll be like, man, I remember hearing that somewhere. But it's gonna resonate. It's gonna come back, right? And I think that's there's a whole nother conversation about public education and the immediate gratification, right?
Sure,
you have to have every student learning at every minute of the day. Yeah, it just doesn't happen, right? That's not who we are.
Bell to bell,
right? Yeah,
you gotta love it.
We're not going there today.
Yeah, no, we're off on that. We're off on that.
But one of the things I kind of, I'm looking at time and I want to wrap it up. But one thing we talked about before was, how do we make this work, or even our own kids, like our own children, want to take it a step further, right? Or get involved with it. And, we both, have the same excuses of our kids are lazy.
Oh yeah.
Are they lazy, or have we just not marketed what we're doing in a way that's attracting them?
Yeah. I actually had a little bit of a success story this year with my oldest. My oldest son for years was like, I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like, we have a YouTube channel. We made our own.
Hey,
for
I know
him
a guy.
specifically. Yeah, well, I made one for him, and it was what we were going to do is called the Pinterest Pirates. So I've helped many people with YouTube, and some are extremely successful. And I'll tell you a quick story. I know we're pressed for time. So back at school, when I was still a marketing instructor, there was a kid. The story's pretty gross.
Awesome. I love that.
So what he would do is he would take a breath mint out of his pocket and he would take his cell phone. And what he would do, this was the content he made. He would walk around with the breath mint and the cell phone, and he would walk around to school, and you'd be watching the breath mint in his hand. And he would go to the bathroom, to the urinal, and he would put the breath mint in the urinal, and he'd flush the toilet. And then he would take the breath mint out after it was done, and he would go to class, and he'd find a friend, and he would say, do you want a mint? And the friend didn't know he put it in the urinal.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not good content. Don't do this. Please don't try this at home. Not good content. Yeah. He probably made about 100 to 200 of these videos over the course of his years in school. Yeah. Oh. And he goes, how come I'm not getting paid? I said, well, geez, dude, I don't know. I don't know if any company really wants to put their name behind some kid putting stuff in a toilet. Yeah. Like, I said, it's easier than what you think. Like, find something you're passionate about. And no joke, this kid I told him to take all those videos off. Yeah. Take them all offline. Even though they're already online, they can still, you still kind of see them. But take them all off your channel. Like, take them off, erase it, start fresh. And do something you're passionate about. And so what he ended up doing was understanding he didn't know what he was going to do. What he did was his parents mentioned to him one day, hey, it's raining outside. I hate the streets here because nobody cleans the drains, and all of our streets are flooded. So he took his camera and he went out with a rake, and he made a video of raking the drains in Forest Park, Springfield. That one video has 32 million views on it right now. And he has over 845,000 subscribers. All he did to start his channel, this one channel, and he has like 3 of them now. That one channel was do something he was passionate about, things he was going to do anyway. And he went out and he would do that. He'd rake, he would go to bridges, take down beaver dams that were flooding areas. And he still does it to this day. And he's still making tons of money. And this kid he was an electrical student. He was learning how to be an electrician. And that was just one of the success stories. He did really, really well for himself. But it was finding that passion, the thing that really spoke to him, the thing that he knew he had to get done.
Yeah.
And so he would take that passion and he would work on it. And it was the easiest thing because he was going to do it anyway. So I think that was one of the success stories. For me, another success story this year was my oldest son was like, I think I want to try this YouTube thing again. I want to stream, because he wanted to do something with Call of Duty. I don't know. So all I did was, when he wasn't there in his room, I put a microphone down, I put a camera on his PlayStation, I set it up to be able to stream. All he had to do was press the button. And he did. He made a couple of streams and posted them online on Twitch. Got some views, not a ton, but he was still like kind of enjoying it. And I think what it was just trying to get him into the routine.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is building routines. You said systems in place. Routines would be a big one, right? Get your routine down. Even if it is like, you don't have ideas for a YouTube video this week, let me come up with 5 things that I think are problems in the industry that I'm working in. So for me, gaming, 5 things that might be a problem, right? How do I stream? In this case, like you see here, I've got a switcher, right? So for me, I can switch this and put a game up in the background and play off this camera and record directly to my computer. So 5 things right here, right off the top: how to use OBS to record, how to set up a microphone to record, how to set up a switcher to make sure I'm getting 2 images at once. And then the last 2 things would be, how do I set up my OBS to be able to record the session that we're in? And how do I get it to transfer to a hard drive, an external hard drive, so I can edit it? That's 5 simple things that I could put together. And that's 5
separate
videos that I can make.
The thing is, and this is where I struggle, right? I'm a big picture guy. I do a lot of the little things naturally.
Yeah.
But I don't appreciate the fact that those come naturally. It's little things like that so many people don't. Why don't we do things, right? We don't do things because we don't even know how to start. We just have to. That's part of like creating that content, is look at those little things.
Find
little things
base.
that we find so easy and natural that we can't even identify it.
Yeah.
There are thousands of people out there, millions of people out there that would love to see that and don't even know that that's where I should start, or where,
And that's the thing, is finding that and realizing it, right? So for you, photography is easy. You go out, and I asked you once, like, do you shoot in automatic mode, or are you shooting manual? And you're like, manual all the way. Like, I shoot manual as well. I know a woman that shoots nothing but automatic. And I'm like, why would you trust the automatic mode of a camera? Right. Most of the time, you're going to have yellow images because of your white balance, right? But that's just it. It's starting from the basic of the basics, trying to go back and remembering the things that you started with. And those are where you should begin. And then when you're filming it, think about making it even shorter. Think about how you're going to speak about it, right? So this session here, we can talk about this. We've been going on for 41 minutes now?
Yeah.
You can cut that down to a 1-minute clip and think about the key points that you want to talk about. And then have you start off the video like, hey guys, we're sitting down, we're going to be talking about this is the 3rd episode. And then at the end, hey, if you like more of this stuff, check it out on this.
Right.
And now you're driving that short form content to the long form content. But knowing the key points of the video that you're going to be working on, and then cutting that down to a smaller portion. That was something that was a big learning point for me when I'm building a controller. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do this. Let me do it real quick. Short form content doesn't pay as well as long form content, but you get more views faster.
But with long-term content as well, and the software that I use, like the AI part of it, will take this 40 some odd minute thing and they will break it down into chapters.
Oh yeah.
Like is chapters kind of like a newer, and I say newer, like within the last 5 years?
I would say
YouTube.
Well, no, I think you had to have a certain amount of subscribers to be able to do chapters back then, and now it's changed. So yes, it might have changed the last 5 years.
But which is super important, because now, like, searchability, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're looking, how many times have you search something and you end up in a YouTube video that you're 3/4 of the way through and it's just for that chapter? Like, which I'm like, oh my God, it's genius. Like, it's just little things that we don't think about that we take for granted that, thankfully, others have.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like you just said, how do I do chapters? Well, there you go. There's another idea.
Another video.
You could watch this video and probably get like 17 different ideas that we talked about
100%.
today that you could build on. But remembering, like you said, the littlest thing you take for granted is either a short or a long form video, or it's a short that guides you to a long form.
Yep.
And that can be something that builds that consistency. Because let's say you do a video and you film, like today's what day is it? Tuesday.
I don't know. We're both teachers. We're on vacation, so we don't know what day it is.
Yep. So Tuesday, so let's say we recorded it today, and you go home and you're going to edit this. You want to post it by Friday. So on Wednesday, you should post a short form. So every Wednesday short form, every Friday long form. And you figure out, again, using AI tools, you can find out when the best time of the day is to release your content. Usually during vacations is a great time to do that, because that's when most people are at home. They have nothing to do and they're just scrolling. And if you can make it something that's interesting, like I think that exposure triangle is a great idea.
Yeah.
Starting there. A lot of people don't know what shutter speed is. They don't know what aperture means. Why is the lower number of aperture a brighter image than the higher number? I get that question all the time. And it's like, guys, it's just, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Just go with it.
Yeah, just trust me on this one.
Trust me on this one.
Like ISO, what does that even mean? Like building the proper lighting sequences, how to get, like right here, how to get fake ambient light in the background.
Right.
Like
we have a window coming in.
We have
not really a window
that's not even really there. Right. Like, how do you do little things like that? And I think that could be. There's so many opportunities. It's just too much to talk about. There's so much to do.
So many opportunities that they're right in front of us.
And the thing is, and that's just about YouTube and content creation. Like we haven't even talked about Instagram. We haven't even talked about, the Reels or Facebook or any of that stuff. And there's opportunities everywhere. The thing is, if you're trying to get people motivated to get up, you just got to get up. It's not about having somebody tell you to do it. You just have to be inspired to do it.
Absolutely.
Find what inspires you to go forward, move forward, and do it. That's what's going to push you.
That's what's going to start you, right? That's and again, the hardest thing, start.
And there's no better time than right now, because
right now,
9 times out of 10, you're going to be doing the thing you want to do anyway. So you might as well just press record.
Right.
Your phone's good enough to start.
Yep. Get started and then build consistency. A plan for it. And as we wrap up, last episode I said, I actually cut it short because I got an idea on like something so stupid and small that I just take for granted, and that's packing the van for different kinds of shoots.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm like, if I want somebody to be able to do this, like I need to create a checklist. I need to have like a list of, here's the components for that go in the pack out boxes. Here's the lights I need for this shoot. Here's here's the lens I need for this kind of shoot. I was late today. I was supposed to be here at 9, and it was like 9:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go, because I was literally making those checklists, and I'm like, this is great. Like, I've accomplished something. I've got a piece of my SOP, and it's the start of it. Benny, this is not going to be the last time we're doing this.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Whether it's here, whether you come down to my side of town, and I have maybe some new equipment you show me how to use. You never know.
Or I could just truck over. Hey, today we're going to record a podcast. Here's what you need.
Here we go.
Here you go. There's a video. Boom.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining, and hope you got something out of it. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, Benny. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. Don't forget, guys, stay curious, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Absolutely. And if they want to find you, you have a website, or just YouTube channel?
Just a YouTube channel. The Curious Consumer. Just look up The Curious Consumer. He's the guy with the beard, the sunglasses, and the backwards hat. You'll see it. It's on there.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, Benny.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
This is great.
And there you go. You just made a video.
That was freaking